Today we're going to be talking about the bare basics of an air suspension kit, and I'm going to show you on my E36 M3. Before we get started on the car, I wanted to give a very basic overview of a comparison from a coil setup to an airbag setup. A lot of people have been asking us this question, so I figured we'd kind of straighten it out. Now, in a standard coilover setup, you're gonna have 4 coilovers, one at each coil, and each one is typically adjustable by height, and also some of them have dampening adjustment. On an airbag setup, you also need 4 of the struts. Typically they come with an airbag built in, or you can also have an airbag that's separate depending on your suspension geometry. In addition to air struts, you also need management in order to control the amount of air going in and out of the bags. So for a management setup, there's a couple different very key components that you're going to need. One is you're going to need an air tank. You're going to need lines. You're going to need an ECU or a brain to control all that, and I'll show you in just a minute. You're going to need 1 or more air compressors, and you'll need a switch. Now, once again, this is just very basic. These are the very critical components you need. There's a lot of other stuff that you're gonna need as well, but we'll kind of go over that as we continue with the video. So 2 additional things that we're gonna cover in this video are the addition of height sensors and why you may need an additional compressor. I am running Airlift Performance struts in the front and the rear, and AccuAir E-Level air management. So let's go over some of the components. Here's my air tank above. This is a 5-gallon air tank. I have twin VI Air compressors here. You can see the VU4 management by AccuAir, as well as a small little air dryer. I'm running 3/8 inch lines with bulkhead fittings that go out to each corner. In addition, this car is also equipped with the iLevel, which is underneath here, so I can control my air suspension with an iPhone. Probably the most important thing with an air suspension setup is that the entire system is sealed, meaning that as your air compressors are working and they're basically compressing air, just like the name says, compressing air and putting it into the air tank, it has to be completely sealed so that no air is leaking out. If you have a leak, your bags are not going to fill up properly and your compressors are going to be running all the time. So let's explain a little bit on the whiteboard of what actually happens when you turn your car on and when you go up and down. Alright, so this is a very simplified version of an air setup, essentially what I have in the trunk, but really simplified. So let's talk about when you turn the car on for the first time, the air compressor will turn on and start to fill the tank. The tank will be filled up to a very high pressure, anywhere from, let's say, 70 to 125 PSI, something like that. The brain or the ECU is going to be sending specific amounts of air to each corner to ensure that the pressures are the same. Now, with my system, this is the AccuAir E-Level, which comes with height sensors. So that's what these blue diagrams represent here. What's really cool about the AccuAir E-Level system is that it comes with height sensors. Now, each one of these height sensors is hooked up to the lower control arm on every corner. And this is imperative so it can feed information back to the ECU so that it can send specific amounts of air to each corner to keep the system level when the car is on unstable ground. Now, this system is not required, but it's really cool, and the handling is dramatically improved. This air system is super easy to use as well. I have 3 programmable presets, 3 being the highest, 2 is the normal, cruise, and 1 is like a low cruise for a car show. As well as you can adjust each corner individually if you want to raise and lower one independent of one another. And then also you have air all the way out, which is this button, which is where we're at right now. So as I'm just preparing to leave my house, I'm gonna head on to 2. And you can hear the air compressors come on. Number 3 will be the highest. and one will be low cruise. Alright, so now is probably a good segue into telling you that we are giving away a full air suspension setup just like this. Airlift Performance struts with AccuAir E-level management, and all you have to do to get entered to win is join throtl VIP. Now if you're an existing throtl VIP member, you're automatically entered, and if you're thinking about joining, now is the time because there's only 3 weeks left. If you don't want an air suspension setup or you already have one, you also have the choice to win $4,000 in a shopping spree on thehuntquarters.com. Any and all VIP members will be included into the drawing that we're gonna do on the first week in November. Hurry up, click the link in the description, check it out. There's a ton of awesome other benefits, as well as an exclusive VIP window decal that look really cool. Super stoked to have you guys join the throtl VIP program, and we can't wait to see one of you drive away with an awesome air suspension setup.